welcome to week 2 of the diet. I'm doing an 8-week cut diet, and so welcome to week 2. Week 1 to week 2, I did a deplete. So I did a complete carb deplete for 7 days. So the footage that you're seeing is actually me on my last day of deplete. So I'm very, very tired, very exhausted. I was actually sick during the filming of this video. But that's no excuse, right? That's no excuse. Some days, you know, when it's time to go to the gym and it's time to get work done, it's time to get work done. There's no excuses that you can make. So I wanted to share kind of what happened during week 1. So week 1, I did a complete carb deplete. I ended up losing 10 pounds. Now probably 4 or 5 of that was water weight, maybe even 6. But the nice thing about a deplete is it really kind of starts your system fresh, really kind of gets your metabolism burning. And then that way when you reintroduce carbs, your energy levels can be a little bit more controlled and your glycogen levels are a little bit easier to manage. So the deplete went really, really well. I ended up going from 209 to 199 pounds in 1 week. The reason being, obviously, no carbs. So again, during this video, I'm very, very flat. You will not see a lot of vascularity. You will not see any really huge pumps, mainly because of the fact that I have no carbs in my system and I'm very, very exhausted and tired. Not to mention I had strep throat. Which explains why I sound kind of weird today. I'm actually a lot better. So if you guys are curious about everything that happened last week, why there was no video, go ahead and check out my IRL vlog that I released. That will kind of explain everything. But I wanted to get into this week because during shoulder workouts, especially for me, I actually love shoulder workouts. Shoulder workouts are my favorite day of the week. You'll see exercises, side lateral raises, some clean and presses, some overhead barbell press, some rear dumbbell flies, and then also a really interesting kind of take on a rear fly that I found in another video that I actually really, really like. It's the one where I'm obviously, you'll see it in the footage behind you, but you're really squeezing those shoulder blades back together. It kind of works your traps, your upper back, and then obviously your rear delt. The focus being on the rear delt is where you're trying to really squeeze and feel it the most. But one of my favorite exercises for shoulders really finishes the cap. The biggest thing that most people forget about when they're working shoulders is, you know, they always do their side lateral raises, they always do their dumbbell and their barbell presses, they might even do their shrugs. The problem is they never really work that back of the deltoid, okay? That rear part of the deltoid that really caps it off. That's really the difference between shoulders that look bigger and shoulders that are bigger. Some guys can be extremely strong in their shoulders, and if they don't have that rear delt, they really, like when they have shirts on, you don't see that full circle and that big cap. They might have a big front delt. That just means they know how to do front delts, right? That full completed shoulder, you definitely need to spend a lot of time working on that rear delt. It's one of the most overlooked muscles in the body, and it's actually one of the most beneficial muscles to work because it gives you that big back look from the back. From the side, it gives you that big finished arm look, that big bowling ball look. You don't get that without the rear delt. That is the difference. So when you see guys who are really, really strong on shoulders, you're like, man, their shoulders really don't look that big. The reason being is because they don't work their rear delts, and they don't have that pronunciated rear delt that really sticks out and really finishes that circle and that cap on the shoulder. That's one of the biggest secrets, you know, especially if you're into bodybuilding or whatever, is make sure that you're working your rear delt a lot. A lot of people overlook that area because you can do traps, you can do upper back, and you can do rear delts, and it's all kind of connected, you know what I mean? Those are the secondary muscles used. So make sure that you're really trying to get a lot of sets in with that. It's also going to help your back thickness. It's going to help the way that your upper back looks, that nice kind of rocky effect that I talked about before, where everything kind of, you've got these bumps in your back and everything looks just huge and big. It's all key. So when you're doing that back lat spread, or you're doing that back double bi, you know, especially during the back double bi, you'll really notice the guys who work a lot of rear delts and a lot of upper back by all the little bubbles and all the nuances, when you can see the difference between their traps, their rear delts, and then you can see like their scapula and everything else, working in well with their rhomboids, all that stuff you can really see. And then that lat sweep, that's really what you want, is you want that big bubbly upper back, big thick meaty upper back, those big wide lats that taper down into a small waist, okay? Especially if you're going for a bodybuilding physique, that X factor of big wide shoulders, tiny waist, big legs, it starts with the shoulders. The bigger your shoulders are, the wider your shoulders are, the smaller it makes your waist look. It's actually an optical illusion. So that's one of the keys that I'll give you guys, especially when working shoulders, is make sure you're always hitting those side and rear delts Those are the two most important. Your front delts are easy to build. Anytime you're doing incline bench press, you know, you can isolate your chest as much as you want, but you're still going to be working your front delts. Your front delts get worked quite a bit when you're doing chest. If you're doing triceps and doing like close grip bench press, you know, there's a lot of secondary, there's a lot of exercises where the front delt is the secondary muscle used. So keep that in mind, that going forward in your shoulder training, I always try to end with front delt work because I think that my traps, my rear delts, and my side delts are actually much more important to develop than my front delts because I don't have a problem developing those. And most people are in the same boat that way. You don't genetically just like have big rear delts. So that's something that you really have to work at and really something that you have to hone your craft and really dedicate time to in order to build. But I don't want to keep this video too long, guys. Just wanted to update you, let you know that week 2, we're feeling pretty good. Again, looking a little flat. Hopefully next week you guys will be able to see a little bit more vascularity, a little bit more definition. But for this week, I think everything went pretty well, especially for having to fight through being sick. Hope you guys like this video. And as always, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.